El día de hoy tenemos un invitado con un gran recorrido en materia militar y aeroespacial. Nos alegramos de gran manera que haya aceptado estar con nosotros hablándonos un poco sobre su recorrido profesional. Él es el astronauta y director de la Estación Espacial Internacional de la Agencia Espacial Europea, ESA, Frank De Winne. Nació en Leeuwarden, Bélgica, y es oficial belga del componente aéreo y astronauta de la ESA. Es la segunda persona de Bélgica en el espacio, después de Dirk Freeman. Fue el primer astronauta de la ESA en comandar una misión espacial cuando se desempeñó como comandante de la Expedición 21 de la Estación Espacial Internacional. Actualmente es jefe del Centro Europeo de Astronautas de la Agencia Espacial Europea en Colonia, Alemania. Es un piloto de pruebas militares. Participó con la OTAN en los Balcanes. Es presidente de la Asociación de Personal de Vuelo de Fuerzas Armadas de Bélgica. En enero de 2000 se unió al Cuerpo Europeo de Astronautas. En el 2007 viajó a la Estación Espacial Internacional, convirtiéndose en el primer comandante belga. Frank se convirtió en director del Centro Europeo de Astronautas de la ESA en Colonia, Alemania, el 1 de agosto de 2012. Desde 2017 ha estado a cargo de las operaciones de la Estación Espacial Internacional en la ESA y en 2020 se convirtió en gerente del programa de la Estación Espacial Internacional de la ESA. Bienvenido, Frank De Winne.
Welcome to AQME, ¿alguien que me explique? My first question is, how do you become an ESA astronaut and who was your inspiration for this step?
Well, you become an ESA astronaut by applying to an ESA astronaut selection call. Actually, we have a call open right now. We are looking for young people to become ESA astronauts again. And at my time, this happened in 1989. There was a call open for ESA astronauts, and just a couple of years before, in 81, I saw for the first time the space shuttle fly. I was at that moment a young engineer studying for an engineer and becoming a pilot in the Belgian Air Force. And I thought, oh, flying to space as an engineer and a pilot, that must be great. So in 1989, I applied to the ESA selection to become an astronaut.
And who was your inspiration to do this? Did you find that inspiration from someone else, or it was something that you just, it came out to your mind or to your heart?
My inspiration was that at that time there were a lot of discoveries ongoing in space related to supernovas, black holes. And then the inspiration was the space shuttle that was flying, this wonderful machine that flew to space with 2 astronauts on board, and me being a young engineer, a pilot, I wanted to do the same profession.
You went to the International Space Station in 2009 as a commander of Expedition 21. As the same way as astronaut Pesquet in crew number 2, what kind of qualities must have an astronaut to be a commander?
In order to be a commander of the International Space Station, first of all, you have to have done a first space flight. And of course, in that first space flight, you must have performed very well. It's clear that we look for the best astronauts to become commanders. Secondly, of course, commanders need to be people that can give leadership, that can give direction to their team, but they also need to be good team players. They also need to be good followers, because sometimes during the tasks that you have on board of the International Space Station, your teammates might actually be in the lead for some certain activities, and you need to be able to help them, to support them. And flexibility is of course also one of the great things that we look into leadership functions of people, so they can easily adapt to new situations. Every time that you fly to space, there are new situations that occur, and look, today we are all wearing masks. This was not foreseen at the moment that we assigned Thomas Pesquet to the flight. COVID was not there yet, but in the meantime, throughout the whole training period, there was the pandemic. So people need to be able to adapt, and the commander of course need to be able to adapt as well and bring his team together with him in order to be the most successful during the mission.
Okay. Can you tell us about what is the function of Columbus module at International Space Station?
The Columbus module is the ESA contribution towards the International Space Station. On board the Columbus module we do a lot of science, research. This is one of the primary goals why ESA is investing into the International Space Station. We do material science, human physiology, biology science, so there is a lot of science happening all the time in our Columbus module.
What is the ESA present and future in the International Space Station?
Today, of course, we are looking forward to fly Thomas as part of Crew 2, but not only Thomas. Matthias Maurer, our European astronaut from Germany, will fly in fall this year on Crew 3, and then Samantha Cristoforetti, our colleague from Italy, will fly in next year, March, April next year to the space station. So we're looking forward to having 3 astronaut missions, one after the other, and having a permanent presence for 1.5 years of European astronauts on board of the space station. This is the immediate future. Of course, in the long term, the European Space Agency is looking further to further extend the International Space Station till 2028, 2030, to make sure that we can continue to do all the science and all the technology demonstrations that we need to do for the benefits of the people here on Earth, but also in order to prepare to go beyond low Earth orbit and to go further forward to the moon.
Let's talk about a little bit of your biography. And along your military career, we know that you were at Balkans with NATO. How was that moment? What was your experience in there? Were your life in a risk in any point? Can you tell us something about that?
In my early careers, I was indeed a fighter pilot and a test pilot. And at the end of my career, I was the commander of the Allied Force detachment that participated in the NATO operations in Kosovo. Of course, these are always difficult moments because the purpose of the military is not to go to war, but to prevent war by deterrence. However, sometimes this does not always work. So in the Kosovo crisis, unfortunately, we had to intervene in order to stop the atrocities on the ground and to make sure that Kosovo and all the surrounding neighbors could go back to peaceful living and working together, which actually we have achieved because now there is stability in the region.
Okay. According with the next flight to the moon, what can you tell us about the Artemis program with Europe and United States?
The Artemis program is a great program to bring humans back to the moon. Yeah? We have to go not in the same way that we did like 50 years ago to plant a flag on the moon, but really to go there to do sustainable exploration of the moon, to learn to use the resources that are there on the moon, to bring benefits to humankind and to prepare to go forward to Mars. Europe is participating in this program already by participating in the Gateway, which will be a command post that will help us to access all type of areas on the lunar surface, and also by providing the service module to the Orion spacecraft, which will transport the astronauts towards the lunar vicinity. But we want to do more. We don't want to only fly to the vicinity of the moon in the Gateway, because we will have 3 European astronauts that can fly to the Gateway. We also want to be part of the lunar surface exploration itself. And this is why we are working now together with our colleagues from the international partners, and in particular with NASA, to see what contributions can Europe make so that by 2030 we can also have a European astronaut on the surface of the moon.
According with certain information that we have received from media, we know that Moon is going to be is going to have mining processes in there with private companies. What is your opinion about mining the Moon besides just only studies for the soils and everything? So what's your opinion about mining?
There is an organism that's called UNCOPIUS that is actually discussing how can we use the resources of the Moon and on the Moon, not only for purposes of staying there, doing exploration of the Moon, but also in order to bring benefits back to humankind and, for example, mining precious resources on the lunar surface. My personal opinion is that we have to carefully look at this, how this can be done and how we should do this. It cannot be that the resources of the Moon are appropriated by certain companies, by certain countries, and only benefit those countries or those companies. The Moon is a heritage of the whole of humankind. I'm all in favor that we can use the Moon as much as possible to further enhance the lives of all the citizens of our planet Earth. But we should do it in a very concerted way, and it should benefit everybody on Earth.
Do you think we have a solid legislation about mining?
Today there are different initiatives in different countries, in Europe, in Luxembourg, in the United States, in other countries about mining in the Moon. I don't believe that today there is an overarching framework where everybody can find themselves and see this is how it will do. We will do it. But it's very early days. It's normal when you open up a new frontier, people go a little bit faster, go a little bit slower, some things need to be regulated later on. I'm sure that together with the international partnership and with the international community, we will get to a good conclusion at the end.
What is your message for all the young people that want to pursue a STEM career, or they want to reach their goals or their dreams somehow?
It's very important for young people that they have dreams, that they have perspectives. Sometimes it can be becoming an astronaut like myself did, or like Thomas Pesquet that is going to fly to space here on the Crew Dragon. But we were not certain at all that we would reach our dreams. We both studied engineering, we went for difficult subjects, science, technology, and I was very happy to be able to be engaged in those subjects and to be able to contribute. Then at the end, maybe there will be a possibility to become an astronaut. It's not impossible. Look at myself. I'm coming from a small country in Europe and I have no connections. I just, because I was a good engineer, because I was a good pilot, I was selected by the European Space Agency. Nothing is impossible in this world. So, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to engage yourself. As a good engineer, science, technology and math are really important for the future of our society.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being with us today. And do you have anything to say to AQME?
Un saludo a todos en AQME, al quien explique.